All right, I will see you in about an hour. And I come to be with you once more, to sit in your presence and let the veil just fall away. So today we will conclude our topic, our final session on the topic. But I will talk a little more about that in a moment. We have some conversation to do and also to hear from you. But let us begin with the list of names for healing, if I may.
Yes, the names are Lynn Aitken, Jack Heron, Hazel and Stephen, Jody, Ross Marshall, Teresa Neal, Helen, Lena, Howard, Michelle and Nigel Clark, Pia, Peter and Chelsea, Eileen and Ed, Betty and David Essex, Bronwyn, Roz, Adelaide, June, John, Clive, Blossom, Therese, Chewy the dog, Benjamin the dog, Keiko, Dave, Loretta Caputo, George, Angelina, Irene, Susan, Stella, Stephanos and Andrews, Dimitri and Miria, Natalia, Carolina, Tanya, Duncan and Lorna, Craig and Amanda DeJersey, and Karen O'Hear. Thank you.
And first a private message, but then after then, if there are any in attendance, I would like to hear from any of those which had a blockage that was talked about last week, to see if you found or there's been some correction of your situation. So the first private message, or the private message, is Jane for you, and I think you knew that this message would come. And it is just one of clarity, and you would understand this. This is for the other group and not for this group. So the other group, next week is the last week. The following week I am taking the medium or encouraging the medium to make a contact somewhere else, which he does not know about, and that is what the resistance will be about. Next week, then, if you can let people know that part of the session will be upstairs and downstairs. We attempt to bring the phenomena downstairs. If you could pass that message on, please. I trust that is clear.
Yes, so we will not be partaking the week after, just the medium.
That's right.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
concludes next week as far as proceedings, as they normally are. But that is for that group, does not affect this group.
Ah, thank you.
Now, so my question first, is there anyone in attendance, I believe we do have, who had a blockage that they had previously and we worked on it for them over the week? Is there somebody there that could confirm, please?
This is Dave. I talked about a blockage last week.
Connecting to your guides.
Correct, yes.
And what has happened?
Actually, a guy did come through a few days ago and spoke a few words, and I followed your advice and contacted Terry, and hopefully will be joining her group mid-April, which I think will solve the situation.
Well, that is wonderful.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Is there anyone else?
Yes, we have Deborah.
Yes, hi. You had suggested that I continue to sit in the power for 2 weeks. So it's only been a week, but I have been doing that. I have practiced mediumship, and I do feel like my connection is stronger. So I thank you.
It'll get stronger yet, my dear. The secret will be for you to let go into the feeling and not chase the result, if you understand. After all, it is the journey, not the destination, isn't it? The destination is every moment, not in 2 weeks or 1 month or 1 year. So work consistently, and you will find the results that we have already started to deliver. And was there another?
There was Taylor, but she's not here today. But I can tell you, she reached out to me the very next day and was ecstatic that she felt a major change, a shift, a change in vibration. Her energy went up, and previously she was confused, and she just felt a total change so quickly.
Good. So if Taylor is listening, please continue. There is more to come, my dear. This is the beginning and not the end. The more you can relax and let us do the work, the more you will find your connection improving. Now, I would like to see if there's another 3, and if any of those are here, please let them ask their question themselves. Do we have anybody here now?
Yes, we do. We have all 3. Michelle, if you'd like to ask you a question.
Hello, Ignatius. How are you?
My dear, I am well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing fine. My question is that many years ago, I was able to hear my guides and hear people's thoughts after my trip from Nepal. And over time, they started to wane. And then I was pulled back into the spirit world in 2018, where I started to do mediumship readings like spontaneously with my friends. And I know I have a guide named Michael, and I wanted to know why after like 2019, I just don't seem to be able to communicate as like I did before. And how can I more easily communicate with him and with my mediumship?
My dear, the important things for you at the moment is life at the moment is rather stressful. And I would be correct, or please correct me, but I believe you have much demands on your time. And not just your time, but demands on your mind. And because of this, then you are finding this a little harder. Now, I would suggest, if you can, to have periods of time, which I guess would have to be a weekend or a day on a weekend, where you could go into your own retreat, where you could just be with us the whole day. Now, you should set a time for this, be it this weekend coming or the following weekend, and use the whole day where you will meditate, contemplate, read, meditate, contemplate, read, whatever it is. Bar food and bar any emergency, I would like you to be in retreat that time. Would you be able to do that?
Yes, I can try to make that a care.
So this is 12 hours, my dear, not
Okay.
1 or 2 hours. Now, of course, you could take care of all that you need to take care of within your rooms. No television, no distractions, just you and us. Now, you may wish to do this on consecutive weekends or consecutive days,
Okay.
but be with us. Now, if you can sit in meditation, and I know meditation can be sporadic in terms of quality, sit in meditation. And I want to begin with a question for you, so pick a meditation. It will not be your first, it may be your last meditation of the day. And I would like you, as you are beginning to return into an awakened state, as in awaken to your life, I would like you to pose a question just as you begin to return. And once you do that, do not come back and allow the answer to come to you. Now, I'm going to give you a suggested question. Now, you have some flexibility on this. The suggested question is, as long as your meditation has been sufficiently quiet, should be, what is my first memory?
Okay.
And then be still. And wait for pictures or images or words or whatever it is to arrive. Now, this may take you to your childhood. It may take you into your past, beyond this life, into previous lives. It may take you to, let's say, your teenage years. So remember, what is my first memory?
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
So if you were to be in a temple in the forest for one day, well, your temple in your forest is where you live, within your walls. No distractions.
Okay.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Is there another question?
Yes. Next question is from Amanda.
Good morning, Ignatius.
Good
When
morning.
I'm working with trance or mediumship, I connect well with spirits. I feel them all around me. But the moment I talk, I feel I lose the connection to spirit, and it's just me talking. I've also asked spirit to communicate with me more clearly, like show me words. They like to show me a lot of colours, which can be very confusing at times. So any help would be gratefully received.
The issue is not our side, but yours, of course. The connection is strong and the connection is clear, and you already know that what is being given to you is truthful, because you do relay that to various people and get confirmation, don't you? And they confirm that the sensations or feelings or visions are true. So there are two parts. One part is, if we are proving our side, what is the problem then? The problem being is you do not believe yourself and our side. So relax into the connection. Do not worry about what is being given away. Do not be interested in it. Let that connection and energy flow. As words start, relax into the energy. You need a period of time where you could sit in meditation and not talk, not be influenced, not look for images. Sit in the purity of being. Do the exercise of sitting without thought. Come into the clarity of self. You may find a breathing exercise will be very useful to you. Your energy has been misaligned in the past, and your energy flow in the past has not worked particularly well at times, and there's still remnants in your energy flow of things not being quite so straight, quite so natural flow, but it has been improving over the last, let's just say, 18 months or thereabouts. Now, there was an exercise that was given, and it was given by us to those which were in attendance on a Sunday evening locally. Of course, there are people listening from different times of the world where it is a Sunday evening, not this group, another group. And in there, that exercise of being aware of a black hole. So a black circle, a black doorway, a black hole in the tree, and to concentrate onto that. Now if you can picture this black, let's call it a circle, but you can use something more natural or more appeasing if you want. Concentrate on that circle. Concentrate on the blackness. Eventually the surroundings will disappear and let yourself fall into that blackness. Do not chase anything that appears. Go into their black hole and let it be part of you. And be aware of nothing but the black. If anything comes, you let it go. Let the blackness be what you chase. Now the blackness is not negative, my dear. It is, or will be, felt as quite beautiful with time. Relax fully into that. Now, another exercise for you to do is to concentrate on your breath. Hold the count for, let's say, every out breath or in breath, whichever you prefer. Out breath is preferable. And so every out breath you count. And I wish for you to get to the number 30, so that you may follow your breath for 30. If you lose count, it does not matter. Go back to beginning. Keep going with the 30 breaths. And then you will find within this time that you will have more control of your mind and less interest in what the external events are. If you were a monk, my dear, and I do know that you are not, but if you were a monk, that number would be 200, not 30. And to hold the attention on the breath for 200 breaths, or 200 out breaths. Please try. God bless you.
Thank you, Ignatius.
Is there another question?
Yes, our last question goes to Bron.
Thank you, Ignatius, for listening and for your information. Doing spirit art, when I have people come for readings, quite often I'm getting a drawing that they can't recognise. But later on, it turns out their friend recognises it or a random person. So I'm finding that, whilst intriguing, a little frustrating because the person's come with an expectation of me drawing their relative. but it ends up getting all mixed about. Any suggestions there? Thanks.
Now, the drawings that you are doing, the connections that you are making are the most important one. So let us say the friend, rather than the person in front of you, takes that picture. It's important that person gets the message that they receive. However, of course, that may lead to frustration for the person in front of you. Now, I would suggest for you to divide your paper into two halves, maybe one small part and one big part, or left and right, whatever is convenient for you. So let us say you have quite a large piece of paper, and then maybe the top left-hand corner you draw the first face. And the second is you draw a second face or a second influence, maybe as the bigger part of the paper. So there are two drawings that take place. Now there should be words involved at the same time, not just drawings. Now the words I mean father, mother, doctor, red car, whatever comes to you during the drawing process. And let the drawing happen, but also let the message come through. Now if you would like to take this deeper, when I mean deeper, then you go more into a trance state, other practices will need to take place, and in which case we will not allow or encourage you to use the words, only the pictures. So start off with two faces if you want, top left and let's say the remaining piece of paper, as you feel appropriate to do. Let that be strong and true. Spend a little more time in the silence of connection between the two drawings. Ask for the shift between face 1 and face 2. Be clear with what you request. My dear, at times you can get distracted into conversation.
Yes.
Now, I say that let that words come into the artwork on the paper. If you would like to take it deeper, as I said, then maybe you will be able to do two things at the same time then. But at the moment, this is where it sits. So, split your paper up, do the drawing, add words, and trust it all to be exactly the way it is. Remember, my dear, doubt your doubts. We come for the healing of those most required, which may not always be the obvious person.
Lovely. Thank you so much. That's very helpful. Appreciate it. Thanks.
You play music, don't you?
Yes. Well, bits and pieces.
The
Crystal
bowls,
bowls,
my
drums.
dear, the bowls,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Make sure you're aligned before you start,
Mhm.
before the client arrives.
Yes.
And look out for the owl, my dear.
Yeah. Okay.
Now,
Lovely. Thank you.
I trust that helps.
It does. Thanks very much. Blessings.
There will be a young male that you will draw soon. Do not hold anything back. You'll be tempted to, let's say, not express the whole thing. There are certain words that will be spoken which will not be for the benefit of yourself or for those in attendance, but will have deep meaning for others. When it comes, let it come. I am asking, or requesting, or inferring to those which are with you for them to be stronger with you, stronger in terms of the connection, so that you'll be able to handle the additional energy for 2 drawings. The work is done. Now I must move on. As said, today we will conclude our topic. For the next 2 weeks we will offer ourselves to questions. So bring a question that you would like to ask, either about this topic or about spirituality in general. You may pick a personality to answer your question also. We will all be in attendance for the next 2 weeks. Whatever you wish, we will be of service. So how to have a good death, with the subtitle of How to Have a Good Life. I would like to start off with quotes. Milarepa. That corpse that you fear so much is with you now. Marcus Aurelius. Death is a release from the senses and the torture of the flesh. And Socrates, at his trial, he was wrongly accused and convicted of influencing the youth of Athens. And his last words to that audience were, "The time has come. I to die, you to your life. Which of us has the better fate? No one knows, only God." Those which are reaching their end have many various requirements. And in this regard, perhaps 2 people passing will never have the same needs. But of course there are commonalities. Some, when they pass, or will soon pass, would like full awareness, and others no awareness of these last periods of time. And of course this can be influenced by medication, as we have spoke about before. So those requesting full awareness still would like to learn and to go through the final stages, understanding what is to happen, and to also understand and deal with those left behind. Often the worry is the worry of other, or the worry of certain matters that needed to be cleared up. And of course, those not wanting consciousness may do so for various reasons. Now, those in attendance should not make this decision for them. They should do it in consultation with those which are due to pass, and ask them, what would you like? Now remember, it is their choice. It is not the choice of either the medical profession or those around them wanting to do good and to do really what is right for those in attendance rather than for what is right for those that pass it. So full awareness and full consciousness can be a very achievable, as far as the body will allow, but a very achievable outcome. You as the attendee with the loved one, the one that is there by their side, you as that attendee, all you can do is sit in peace. Acknowledge what is to happen. Acknowledge the needs of the other and sit in the peace. If you sit in panic or emotion, then you will relay that to the patient. Sit in peace and offer yourself to the other, whatever they require. And if you were to do this, to sit by their side, be in peace and say, what would you like? What can I do? Then the bond of love will be there. The peace of the appropriate time will also be present. The peace that you will pass to them will mean their mind, their demeanour will also be full of peace. Often at this time, if there is sufficient peace, there will be the awareness of the opening to spirit. The veil lifting, the mist in the room may become visible even to those still or intending to carry on living. The awareness of others, the awareness of light, the awareness of clarity, those in attendance from spirit come closer. We stand in communion waiting. You should sit in peace allowing. And then, when that time is ready, that transition will go. And you worry about this. You say, what is that like? Well, there is a gentle withdrawal of consciousness and spirit from the body. It is gentle. It is loving. It is supported. It is held. It is quite beautiful. The torture is being born, not dying. Because you enter the world of beauty, not the world of challenge, but the world of beauty. You'll find that they have a little resistance, but that is soon overcome as they are wrapped in the love of us all. And they step off the bus of life, into the field of joy. And they come with us. And we deal with the work that we need to deal. They come into beauty. They reside in beauty. They discover that there is no judgment, meaning there is the release of all their love and the receipt of love from us to them. We bring them carefully through the veil, along the corridor if you wish, and into the light of purity. It is often felt like a long tube, like a railway tunnel, where they move along it guided by those which love them on our side. There is no one that is not greeted. No soul is left behind. From the enlightened to the tortured, we bring them into our arms. The grief that you may feel, the pain of loss and separation which would be oh so natural, because of the splitting from what is seen to what is not seen, not by your eyes. But if you use your eyes, you see the demise of the body. And you look, and even then you know that they are not there any longer. You fear death, yet I tell you it is a joy. And you could ask yourself, is this an end, or is this a beginning? This will clarify your mind, because you know that you will say, I do not know that this is an end. I also do not know that this is a beginning. And if you look into your grief, and you are aware enough to look into the depth, you will see your attachments, at times your lack of acceptance. Let the emotions of grief wash through you. Resist them not. Let them come, but hold on to them no longer than is required. Feel the emotions that you must feel. But know that we have them wrapped in our arms, cared for, and they, within a short period of time, will never have felt better. Whatever level you leave in your world, no matter how torturous or how elated, it is not a patch on our world. We will lift you and care for you and bring you into our arms and take you to your appropriate place when that time is ready. In your lives, you can either be conscious or unconscious. You can go through life in a daydream and just let life happen, and it comes at you as a barrage at times, where you have trials, tribulations, difficulties, and you will have issues that you must face. If you do this unconsciously, then your mind will rise to the challenge, offering further challenge, difficulties, responding with anger or with hate. Have resistance or will battle, and at times want to run away. But when you are conscious, as we have tried to bring you into the conscious state, then the difficulties of life can be seen, experienced, but also that you should know that they are just pebbles on a path, one that you must walk. But if you get lost in each individual stone, then your progress is slow, often feeling like you go backwards and not go forwards. So sit in meditation. Become aware of your mind. Watch your mind work. Do not try to chase away the thought. It is not required. But just watch. Watch the thought. Know that you sit in the silence and in fact are the silence. That the thought blows through. As a pebble is dropped into a pond and creates ripples, be the pond and not the ripple. And then the ripple will pass over you and does not disturb, but you become aware of it. You can see in others that they are conscious or not conscious. That they have come to their awareness of life and live life in the challenges and vagaries of the mind, chasing what will make them a greater or give them the false pleasure, thinking it is joy. But that is their choice. Can you see the spirit that exists in each body? Can you see that they are choosing their path? At times torturous, at times angry, at times unloving, and let your sympathy be there. But they must walk it, not you. You do not need to walk their path, only your path. So look up from your feet on the spiritual path, and as you do, you can take a step after a step. And as those pebbles below your feet at times become sharp and difficult, sometimes big, you walk your path by being aware of your mind. Do not change it. Just be aware of it. So for those of you which sit in meditation and struggle with the thoughts, who is it that watches the thoughts? The thought plays out like the movie on the screen, not damaging the screen, like the bubble going through the liquid. It's just a process. You have your choice now, right now. Where are you now? This question can change your life. As you confront those which are oppressive, those which are sad, ask your question, where am I now? Am I conscious or unconscious? Am I in truth or illusion? Am I in the world or of the world? This takes you one step away. And when you do this, the peace is revealed to you. Sounds very mystical. It's always there. We are always there. Until next week. God bless you all.